All right, okay. Do you want to read out some of the questions?
I think a lot of messages have come in from the viewers. Let me begin from this one, from Kasim from Kurudu Police Housing. Could there be space or flexibility for civil servants to acquire study loans too? Okay. And from Jibrin, Ibn Jibrin, a very laudable program, very impactful indeed. What is on ground to include postgraduate students? We wish the Executive Secretary, CEO, all the very best. MD, you mean?
Yeah, MD.
And then from Bolaji in Lokoja, good morning. Are there universities not eligible for these students' loans? Because my friend is at the verge of dropping out due to lack of sponsorship. And we both checked and saw that Federal University Lokoja is not eligible. I think the MD will address this one. And from John here in Abuja, good morning, Nigeria. My challenge and question is University of Abuja not among the schools to benefit? Are spillover students not qualified to apply for this loan because it came as at when they have spillover? What's the fate of the student whose name is not even captured on the school portal due to the school information management system? I'm trying to apply as one of the spillover students, but it's not going. And finally, from my end, Bella Samuel says, good morning, discussants. NTA, some instructions are yet to release. I think she meant institutions are yet to release their admission lists. The NELFUND portal, when opened, should be allowed to remain so that students yet to be admitted will also benefit. Yet to be admitted? Perhaps you want to react to some of these before we take the next round.
Okay, so I wonder how many of them I can remember. But, you know, I think, let me quickly address one
We've talked about postgraduate students, spillover students.
Yes, okay. So, again, with these types of schemes, you have a limited amount of funding. And you have to make certain decisions as to those you want to fund. We took a decision that we want to fund those who are getting into institutions for the first time, or who are in institutions doing a first degree, if you like. Because there's a real risk that if you start to stretch this beyond that, you will run out of funds. And if you run out of funds, you will end up in a situation where you funded people to go and do PhDs, and you no longer have the funds to fund those who want to do a first degree. So it's about priority. And I think over time, because the law doesn't limit us on this, over time we'll begin to stretch. As we get more investment in, as we get more funding in, we'll be able to stretch this to those types of students. In terms of spillover, the same answer applies. We want to, this is not a scholarship. It doesn't test your capacity before you can get it. However, what we need to avoid is funding over and over again people who take the loan. And the terms are very soft, so it's easy to do your 100 level 4 times, right? We don't want to fund that. We want to get people. We want to fund people who can get to a point where they get a qualification which becomes useful to them and to society. So we're not, you know, this is not a traditional loan in the sense that I'm eligible, let me just apply. We're also looking at this and saying, how does it impact the totality of the people?
And then university is not on the list. Somebody mentioned University of Abuja of all places, and then Federal University Lokoja.
Yeah, very interesting that, because we've given money to Federal University Lokoja, and we've given money to the University of Abuja on behalf of students. We have evidence that we've paid them. What is happening is that we're moving into a new session. The schools have to upload, the institutions have to upload a new list for us to say these are the students who are no longer here. These are the ones that are still here, and this is the level that they're at. These are the ones that have come in. Once that list is uploaded, students will be able to see their institution on the portal. We've closed at the moment, and institutions are uploading. If the list isn't there and you go and check, you won't find your institution. So it's a question of, once the lists have been uploaded, you can then apply. For those who can't find it, it's because the institution hasn't yet uploaded their list. And it's not because they don't want to. Some of them are still compiling. They're not being difficult. It's just that you have to give time for the institutions to adjust and put up. But those two institutions, Federal University of Lokoja, University of Abuja, somebody sent me a message in the middle of the night saying Lautech, Nobumashaw is not listed. And well, we've paid these institutions millions and billions. So who did we pay? So they're there. It's just a question of us just educating people that if your institutional listing is not there, you won't find your list.
Is it possible that you publish the list of the universities that have benefited that you've disbursed a loan to?
We do that every day.
Okay.
Every single day, when we receive acknowledgement from institutions, we publish it. We make disbursements and announcements. Doing a list every day might be difficult because some days the list hasn't changed from one day to the next.
Probably you just need to update.
But yes, you know, publishing it every day is probably not practical. Okay. However, we do intermittent publications to say these are the institutions we've paid. We're accountable. We have to do that anyway, and it's part of our discussion earlier about transparency, trust, honesty. We are very, very transparent about who we've paid. But it doesn't necessarily address the question that the person was asking. The question is, they go to the portal, they can't find the name of their institution. The reason they can't find it there is because the institution hasn't yet uploaded. So they make the assumption that the institution is not there. We just need to educate people that the fact that the name of your institution isn't there doesn't mean that they're not eligible. You perhaps need to go back to the institution and say, when are you going to upload?